Hi guys, welcome back to Too Cool for Middle School and Happy New Year. Today is January 1st, 2018, and I thought I would make some videos about my goals for this year. I really love the beginning of a new year or the beginning of a new school year, and I like thinking about the things that I want to accomplish or the things that I want to change. I try not to put too much pressure on myself to make like gigantic changes all at one time, but there are quite a few things that I want to do this year or change this year. So I wrote them down in my bullet journal. I just made a video about my planners and calendars for this year, so that will be up or down here somewhere. And I made a little section for my 2018 goals, and it's kind of an evolving list. And I've got goals for different things. At first I was just kind of making a list of goals in general, but I wanted to split them up by category. I started with 6 categories and then I ended up adding another page so that I can just add more goals as they come to me. So at the moment I've got 7 categories. I'll probably end up adding more, and I've got space within the categories to add more, but as it stands on January 1st, these are the things that I'm gonna try to do. So I'll start with financial goals. I know a lot of people like to make goals on the 1st. So one goal that I'm going to set is to only spend like my fun money after the 15th of the month. I feel like I tend to like have a list of things that I want to get in my mind, and I always buy them like on the 1st when I get my paycheck, but that's when all of my other bills go out as well. And so I think that it'll just make me more aware of the actual like disposable income that I really have. Once all of my bills are paid and it's actually processed, you know, it's out of your account, then I can see what I really have to work with, because I think it's less than I think it is. So without being too strict on myself about, you know, the exact number and the exact amount that I spend on things, I'm just gonna wait until the 15th and just practice a little bit of patience and think more about the things that I want to, you know, spend money on, and I think that's really gonna help my spending in 2018. Another way that I'm going to kind of curb my spending is that I'm only going to buy one clothing item per month. I heard a statistic the other day that Americans buy 84 pieces of clothing a year, which is crazy, but if you look at your the clothes that you bought last year, you might have been up there. Last year I did really cut back on the amount of clothes that I bought because I have other restrictions that I'll talk about in a minute, but this year I'm only going to buy one thing per month. So I have to really think about like what I need in my wardrobe, if I need anything at all, and what I actually want to add. My other financial goal is just to save $2,000. That one's pretty simple. I just need to make sure to do it. Hopefully I'll go above and beyond that goal, but I'm just starting with that for now. Then I have some health goals, and the first one is something that my husband and I have been doing for like, I don't know, like 9 years. I think probably 9 years since we met each other and since we started going to Free Chapel, which is where we met and where we currently go. Our pastor always does a fast at the beginning of the year for 21 days, and it's called the Daniel fast. So there's a story in the Bible where Daniel only eats like vegetables, and he refuses the king's like meats and dessert and stuff in order to kind of preserve his Hebrewness. And so we kind of follow that same idea, and the Daniel fast is just no bread, sweets, or meats we do 21 days. So it's a lot of vegetables, a lot of like nuts or grains and fruits and stuff. It's difficult, but it just forces you to eat a little bit differently. It kind of changes your relationship with food. So as far as the health side, it's just like a good way to reset. It's also a spiritual discipline that I'll talk about in a second, but health-wise, it's good for us just to kind of reset our bodies after, you know, eating a lot of junk food during the month of December. Another one of my health goals is to work out every Monday. I have a gym membership. The gym is right near my school, so I'm just gonna make sure to bring workout clothes with me every Monday, work out every Monday. So that way there's not like a whole week that goes by where I didn't work out. I can always add to that and go to the gym again, but I'm just gonna try to at least work out on the very first day of the work week just to set it up well for myself. My other health goal is just to track my cycles. I had another video where I talked a little bit more about this book, The Woman Code, and this has been so influential for me. There's also an app that goes with this called Flow, I think. Let me see. Oh, My Flow, which looks like that. And you really have 4 cycles per month, not 1, and there are different kind of focuses that you can have, like mentally and physically. There are certain things that you can eat for like optimal health during each one of the 4 cycles, and so I just want to focus more on that this year. Hi, you want to come up here? Okay, hold on. You said that side. Oh, perfect timing. I was just getting to my home and family goals. He's running around like a crazy guy today, so let me check my home and family goals. So one of them is to budget and plan with my husband on a regular basis. Tomorrow, you're gonna go to daycare so that we have some time to sit down and really plan out our budget, plan out like our grocery shopping list. Because doing it through this is really difficult. Okay, where was I with that? Okay, yeah, so me and my husband are gonna try and budget and plan out like our goals, like financial goals and grocery list goals and things like that much more often, just so we can stay on the same page. And in addition to that, we're also gonna try and go on 1 date a month. Jensen's a 1.5 years now, so he's able to stay with other people. So we just need to like put in the effort to find a time when we both have a night off, when we can get a sitter and just go out to dinner and hang out with each other. It's really hard to do when your kids are really little, and we didn't really do that last year, but we want to try and do it this year. And my other home and family goal is just to pray with Jensen every night and just get him in the habit of like reading a verse and praying every night. In general, he needs like a better nighttime routine because he likes to stay up as late as we do. He never wants to go to bed if we're still awake, but he needs to. Okay, my next one is my teaching goals category. So a couple things that I want to do are create a breakout activity or like an escape room thing. One of my coworkers and I want to like work on it together. She teaches 8th grade history and I teach 8th grade English, so we want to kind of combine those things and make a really cool escape room activity. Another thing I want to do is present at a conference. So I have a few ideas in mind and I'm gonna kind of work toward that goal. I also want to use more Kagan strategies. I have learned about these for years and I do implement some in my classroom. A couple years ago I was like really intentional about them, but I do just want to get my kids like up and moving more, especially since we do so much on Chromebooks. I want to just combine more movement and more Kagan strategy type stuff with our Chromebooks. And if you don't know what Kagan strategies are, you can Google it, but it's just a lot of like partner work and getting kids up and talking to each other, and it's a lot of like pair share techniques and things like that. So it just kind of pulls you away from just delivering content, and they actually interact with it and with each other, so it's really good. And then my other teaching goal is just to provide more timely feedback. I have so many students and so many different classes and so many different assignments that it's hard for me just even mentally to like remember what I assigned and remember what's due, and then to remember to grade it all and give them feedback on it. So I'm working on ways to get better about that. But it's really not easy, so trying to find ways to use technology to my advantage. And I've gotten a lot of great suggestions from you guys, so I'm going to try and implement some of those this year. My next category is just spiritual, and so I want to make sure that I'm praying and reading my Bible every day and just really not skipping any days, because there's always days that I fall asleep before I do it or whatever, so I really want to make sure that I'm getting that every single day, because I know that I start to feel out of whack in every other area of my life when I'm not investing in that. I notice that my relationships suffer, my teaching suffers, sometimes even my health, so I just need to make sure that that's a priority this year. And then fasting at the beginning of the year is also a spiritual discipline. Our pastor, Jensen Franklin, has a book about it, but it really is like a like mind over body type of exercise. So you're denying your flesh, you're denying what you want to eat, and you're, sticking to a plan that you've made. And I feel like I'm not the best person to describe all of the benefits of it, but I mean, it's a process, it's difficult, it is hard on your body, but good for it at the same time. And then I would say it's hard on your spirit, but good for it at the same time as well. And it really does give you just like more clarity in your mind and in your spirit. And it's a good time to just like focus on the year coming up and what goals you should have and what things you should be pursuing. And I find it easier to like hear from the Lord during the fast. And it's not something that you can do all the time, but we just always set aside the first part of our year for that. I always struggle with like sharing very much of it because it's definitely something like personal and that you should not brag about or boast about, and the Bible is really clear on that. But I feel like it's a practice that people just don't see being done, and so it seems a little bit like weird and mysterious. And I would like to be able to show that, you know, you can do it and live a normal life. It's not only for like monks and nuns. But yeah, I'm just never quite sure how to balance the two of like making sure that it's just a personal journey, but then also, you know, just trying to be a good example. So I don't know. I still haven't decided on that yet. Another category I have is impact, like the impact that I want to make. So this kind of counts as like my channel goals or whatever. I don't really have any specific goals for my channel or my Instagram. I never have. It's never anything that I focus on like numbers or anything very much, but whatever happens happens, and that's fine with me. But some of my impact goals are to only buy fair trade or clothing that's made in the US this year. I pretty much followed that resolution last year. I bought very few things that weren't fair trade or made in the US, and so just the addition that I'm adding to that this year is also only buying one item per month. Now, if anybody wants to send me anything, if there are any companies out there that have items that you'd like me to share, definitely not against that. But for myself, I'm just trying to stick to this plan for clothing. And I want to share a little bit more of that journey on Instagram really too, and maybe like YouTube. Haven't written this down on my list, but I want to make like a video that's a week of ethical teacher clothing or something like that, and do a little bit more to show how you can style fair trade clothing or like get more use out of simpler and fewer pieces. So much of YouTube is about like buying things constantly and like hauls and lookbooks and all of these things that are like trying to get you to buy more stuff. But I want to promote like just using what you have and like dressing maybe more simply, and I'll see what I can do about that this year. Maybe I can promote that a little bit more. I also want to raise $1,000 for Dressember this year. We just finished Dressember and I raised like $700, which I'm really, really excited about. I'm so glad that that money is going to go towards such an amazing cause. I've got a bunch of other videos about Dressember if you want to know more, but 2018 I want to raise $1,000. And then my other goal for impact is just to spread truth and positivity. My channel and my Instagram have always been a little bit weird because they're not completely dedicated to just teaching. Teaching is kind of like what holds it all together, I would say. But I also share like books and clothing and ethical consumerism and Dressember stuff and family stuff and all of that. I just want to make sure that I am always promoting truth and positivity in whatever category that fits in. So that was everything on this page. I started one more page over here and the box is called creativity. So I do have a few creativity goals. I just want to improve my photography. I really like Instagram as a creative outlet and a place to like share visually appealing things about your classroom or your outfits or whatever. And I know that sometimes we can get too hung up on like making everything picture perfect in our classrooms or in our homes or whatever. So I'm not really talking about making everything look perfect, but I do just want to improve like the actual quality of my photography. Maybe use my camera more instead of my phone. We might get new phones too, so maybe like the phone will upgrade things, and I just want to like understand like lighting and composition a little bit better and just have more like interesting photos that do a better job of like telling a story. So I'll be working on that. And the last thing is we were talking about getting a keyboard, like a weighted keyboard. We have a piano, it just doesn't fit in our house right now, and I don't like cheap keyboards. So it was actually my husband's idea to get a weighted keyboard so that I would be more likely to play it. We really want Jensen to like hear piano music, and I do miss playing and singing, and so I could just put it right here. Actually, I just need to clean off all my stuff right there, put a keyboard there instead, and just play the piano more often and sing more often. So we're going to be looking into that maybe tomorrow. yeah, that'll be on our to-do list. So some of these goals might evolve, or I might add to the list. I'm not really sure, but that's what I'm starting with for right now. There are a lot of things on my list, but I feel like they're not like massive life changes. They're just things that I can work towards and things that I've kind of already been working on. So rather than stressing me out, they're like making me excited for 2018. So let me know in the comments down below what's one of your goals for 2018, or a resolution that you have, or something you're trying to not do, or habit that you're trying to start. This is always a good time to start thinking about those things. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.